Hello everyone, it's Philip from Limitless again, and I'm happy to bring you another interview from the Stuttgart Regional Championships. This time I'm here with Cristian, who finished in top 4 with a very interesting deck.
Saluta.
It's the old Sableye Garbodor deck everyone knows, but we haven't seen it in a while. It used to be one of the strongest decks in Expanded, but people kind of dropped it after Getsus became a staple, and it hasn't seen much player success afterwards. But you picked it up, you made a new list, and you went all the way to top 4, which is a very impressive showing. So congratulations to that. And please tell us, why did you pick this deck, and how did your testing went, and what did you expect from this tournament?
Perché hai scelto questo mazzo e contro cosa hai giocato per portarlo oggi?
Allora, ho giocato questo mazzo perché secondo me è molto forte in quanto riesce a controllare bene il gioco dell'avversario e quindi riesce in qualche modo a limitare le giocate che può fare e a tenere te in controllo del gioco. E mi aspettavo parecchi Zorak e mi aspettavo anche comunque un meta molto vario, perché in Expanded abbiamo diversi tipi di mazzi e secondo me questo è il mazzo che riesce a tenerli tutti meglio sotto controllo.
So, he tried to play the best deck in order to go against the game of every decks in Expanded, because you have a wide range of choice in Expanded. He was expecting, of course, a lot of Zorak variants, and this deck is able to work against all of them, more or less.
Okay, the Zorak matchup is of course the most interesting things for most people, I guess, because Zorak is of course the best deck there is in Expanded, at least that's the general opinion, and I basically agree to it. And yeah, it's a rather tough matchup on paper at least, because there's like the Getsus threat that shuffles all your hand away, so if you build on a good hand and then just gets shuffled away. Also with Puzzle of Time and everything, Zorak has an insane amount of resources and can also always draw cards, so it's really tough to lock them out of the game. So how was your game plan against Zorak, and how did it work out for you?
Come te la giochi con Zorak?
In pratica il matchup è positivo ma non è scontato la tua vittoria. Il matchup contro Zorak si basa molto sul settare Garbodor e cercare di limitare le sue pescate con gli N, con i red card. Nel frattempo magari tentare di mettere sotto pressione la Zorak dell'avversario utilizzando il laser e fare quindi danni passivamente.
Okay, so of course the first thing you have to do is to set up your Garbodor. Once Garbodor is set up, your opponent doesn't have abilities, and then you start to ruin his game with N, red card, Getsis, and so on. After that, you try to make pressure as well with Virbacan Laser.
Okay, right, okay. Before we talk about your tournament, let's take a look at your list. I'm not really sure where to start here, because it's like all over the place. So just in your own words, can you explain us your list, your card choices, and just go through the important cards and explain them, please?
Spiega piano piano le carte più importanti della lista, anche tutte se vuoi.
Sicuramente Sableye, perché è la base del mazzo, e tutti i Pokémon più o meno, perché Sableye è la base del mazzo. Garbodor è un ottimo supporto, perché senza Garbodor non potrebbe esistere, in quanto blocca le abilità, che consente di bloccare l'avversario e bloccargli la possibilità di giocare Pokémon, bloccandogli ulteriormente la mano. Girarsi è molto forte perché riesce a prendere turni e inoltre riesce a togliere una doppia o questa energia speciale che dà fastidio, perché il tuo obiettivo alla fine è scattare le carte e l'ele, insomma, penso non ci sia molto da dire. Per quanto riguarda
Dammi tempo. Sableye is Sableye. We don't need to talk it about.
Yeah.
If you have Garbodor, you can have an existing Sableye. Without Garbodor, Sableye is not able to win everything. Both Garbodors are important. The first one for locked abilities, and this this expanded is full of abilities, and the other one will help you to win the games as soon as possible if you need. Jirachi is good just to take time. You detach the DCs and so on, and Lele is Lele.
I imagine that Jirachi is probably very important against Seismitoad, because usually that is tough because you have so many items that you can't use. And yeah, having this option to remove an energy from the Seismitoad without getting damaged next turn seems really important.
Cosa ne pensi, Seismitoad?
Ovviamente sì.
Alright, so then the energy line is quite standard. You play with 4 blend energy, which is of course great because it can be used for Sableye and Garbodor, and 2 darkness energies, which are important because they are easier to recover with Super Rod, and this way you don't deck out. So I guess we don't have to talk about this too much. Also, you need some more energies, and you can only play like 4 blend energy. So that's basically status. So let's talk about your trainer line, which is a massive amount of trainers, a lot of one-offs, and a very versatile approach. So run us through it. Let's start with the supporters.
Parla con le supporter.
Beh, per i supporter bisogna spiegarli probabilmente uno a uno. Beh, Juniper e Renne non penso abbiano bisogno di tante spiegazioni. Juniper serve per pescare molte carte insieme e Renne ti consente comunque di dare fastidio all'avversario e allo stesso tempo di pescare per te. Per Recruit si torna al discorso di prima, in quanto il tuo obiettivo è bloccare l'avversario e spaccare un'energia è sempre forte.
So Juniper and Ants, of course, and Cynthia, you need them to draw cards, and of course Ants ruins games, and you can also win games with Ant. The Team Flare Grants are good for ruin games, detaching energies, and is the only way to win against Seismitoad with Jirachi.
Reject, molto forte nei primi turni quando hai bisogno di settare insomma, il campo. Il Gladion è necessario in quanto giochi una varietà infinita di carte in singola copia il che ti fa perdere qualcosa quando vanno nei premi, quando te ne hai bisogno.
Lele for Bridget is the way to start in 2018. So. And Gladion is awesome because we played this deck also 1 year before, and if you have something in your prize cards that could be not good, even if it's a puzzle of time or something like that.
Yeah, the Gladion seems very strong with lots of one-offs.
Delinquent è molto necessaria perché capitano le volte in cui riesci a togliere tutte le carte in mano all'avversario e lo blocca totalmente. Senior Junior ti fa prendere quello che vuoi, però nello scorso prima abbiamo la varietà infinita di carte in 1 per e prendere ciò che vuoi aiuta. Guzman, per quanto a volte non sia completamente necessario, è un supporto che può dare sempre una mano. E Team Rocket Handiwork è necessario per lo stile del mazzo, in quanto avvicinandoti alla fine del suo mazzo riesci a consegnare più carte di quanto faresti, e Gessis serve come più o meno tutto il resto a dare fastidio all'avversario.
So we have Delinquent for, of course, like all the cards of the deck for ruin games. You can ruin your opponent's hand, leaving it a 1 card if you already played a red card, for example. Senior and Junior teammates. You have all your basic Pokémon with 70 HP or less. Probably you will lose 1 per turn, and search for 2 cards in your deck is a very good option. Guzma is Guzma, of course. You can also use it just to block your opponents with a 2-3 cost Pokemon in his bench. For example, if we think about Zorark, you can do it on Sudowoodo. And Team Rocket is the way to deck out your opponent. Getsis is a must in this expanded, because you can do it for first turn of Tapu Lele, and you can try to ruin your opponent from first turn.
Alright, and then to the items. First of all, we are of course the 4-off of the Puzzle of Time, which is fairly obvious because Sableye can just pick 2 up and then you can get any cards back, which is of course the strategy of the deck. So this one explains itself. Also like Ultra Ball and Versus Seeker are standard consistency cards. But Versus Seeker is of course very interesting in this deck because Sableye can infinitely reuse your supporters that way easily, even though you're mostly going for the puzzle of times probably. Um, 2 Versus Seeker, however, is a lower count than we've usually seen, and 2 Trainers Mail as well. So how did that work out for you? Oh, also another thing that I see is missing is a Battle Compressor, which we've seen often in Sableye decks to get access to the cards that you particularly want. So you have a little less of these cards like Trainer's Mail, Battle Compressor, Versus Seeker that usually are staple in this deck. But it seemed to have worked out for you anyways. Did you ever miss having like some more control about your deck, some more consistency cards?
Allora, si chiede perché giochi solo 2 versus Seeker e 2 Mail, che di solito se ne vedono di più, e perché giochi 0 Compressor. Hai mai avuto la mancanza di queste carte se ne avessi avute di più?
Sinceramente no, perché compressor sì può aiutare, ma visto che il mazzo è composto da 60 carte devo limitare ciò che gioco. Mentre per quanto riguarda il numero dei Seeker e delle Mail, sì, potrebbero essere forti, ma siamo sempre sullo stesso discorso, non posso giocare 65 carte, devo togliere qualcosa e quelle sono le carte che secondo me possono essere tolte, quindi non si risente troppo la mancanza.
So, consistency is the key, but not every time. This deck is able to take time, and that's good. And you don't need compressor for that. You can discard your stuff with Ultra Balls, with Juniper, or even don't discard them. Poi cos'altro avevi detto? To be the perfect deck, this deck should have 65 cards, so you have to remove something.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. Alright, then of course with float stones, there's not much to say about it. You need to switch your Pokemon sometimes, and you need a tool for Garbodor, so no need to mention it. So let's just talk about your tech items, like the hammers, the red card, trick shuffle of course, and which is very interesting is the laser, because there are some Sableye Garbodor, there used to be some Sableye Garbodor players that played it, there used to be some that didn't play it, but if I remember correctly, most players from Italy that played Sableye Garbodor always had it, and if I remember further correctly, I think that most other players have been greatly annoyed by this card.
Mettiti un po' a parlare delle carte tech, tipo il laser, il trick shovel, il red card, eccetera. E spiega perché molti italiani giocano questo mazzo.
La carta è la carta più importante del mazzo, in quanto se sei in una situazione in cui l'avversario non ha nulla in mano, non te ne accorgi, e grazie a essa tu puoi bloccare, puoi scegliere se lasciare la carta che potrebbe essere brutta e inutile sul mazzo dell'avversario. Grazie ai puzzle comunque puoi farne da 2 a 3 a turno volendo. Il laser invece è molto importante perché consente di fare dei danni passivamente, il che ti porta magari a dare molta pressione. È un ottimo counter verso Ranguru o Bunnelby che ti possono dar fastidio e non si sa mai che possa addormentare e quindi prendere tempo. Il red card invece è una carta anch'essa molto interessante che ti consente di fare un altro supporter anziché N, ma allo stesso tempo di cercare di bloccare la mano dell'avversario, anche perché non possiamo sempre fare N, considerando anche che abbiamo altri 10 supporter, il che ci porta magari a voler fare una supporter ma allo stesso tempo dare fastidio alla mano dell'avversario.
So, Trick Shovel is like one of the most important cards of the deck, because you can check your opponent top deck once you already blocked him. So you know he has nothing in his hands, and you just check what he could have. You can discard it or not, and if you play it with your puzzles, you can also do twice per turn. You can discard the first one, and then you can check the second one. Laser is another win condition. You make pressure to your opponent. He takes damage while he checks his resources in order to win the game. So you can also take prizes, and most important thing, Ultra Prism gave us Oranguru. If you have no laser, you are unable to win against Oranguru. You probably tie every game. About red card, we already talked about. The most important thing about red card is that you can play it, so you don't need to play N, you can play another supporter. So you're able to block your opponent twice in a turn with red card and another supporter, like could be Delinquent or Getsis.
Alright, thank you very much. That much to the list, and let's talk briefly about your tournament. You made it all the way to top 4. How did your tournament go in general, and what were the most memorable games you had? And was there anything particularly interesting in your run?
C'è stato qualcosa in particolare che vorresti raccontare del torneo? Qualcosa che ti è piaciuto in generale?
Sinceramente non c'è stato nessun evento particolare, ho trovato il mazzo veramente solido, tutte le carte veramente utili e sinceramente non ho nessun tipo di rimpianto sulla lista e probabilmente non cambierei nulla se dovessi fare il tecnico.
I will probably change nothing because everything gone well. Nothing to complain about the tournament, the organization, or whatever. The deck is quite solid. I will probably bring it 60-60 once again in another expanded tournament if I can come back.
Okay, and one last thing. You as a player that has been very successful and expanded now with this top 4 finish. Where a lot of players don't like the format, but you were able to bring a very unexpected deck with a new list and to surprise a lot of people and have a lot of success. So how do you like the format in general and what are your thoughts about it?
Ti piace l'expanded in generale? Cosa pensi che potrebbe cambiare?
Mi piace Expand in generale perché ti consente comunque di variare un po' rispetto al meta standard e al contrario dello standard c'è una varietà di carte così grande che ti consente di poter inventare un mazzo o di poter contrastare gli altri mazzi anziché dover necessariamente unirti al resto del meta.
The good thing about Expanded is that you have a big wide range of choice of cards that makes you don't follow others, and you can improve yourself inventing a deck maybe. Of course, we saw a lot of Zoroark, but...
Alright, thank you a lot for your time. Congratulations again for your finish. And yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this interview and I'm looking forward to bring you even more interviews in the future.